While Sophia is trying to mess with Boyd's plans, we finally learn something absolutely fundamental about her true nature. Today we're going to break down all the key moments from episode 7 to figure out what we can expect moving forward. Even though we don't get all the details of Boyd's plan, it's pretty obvious that he's looking at more than just a trip down into the tunnels. We see the team trying to figure out if the totems could actually be used as an effective weapon against the monsters. After all, those creatures aren't exactly going to just stand by and let everyone easily get to the place Jade saw in his visions. As it turns out, things don't go according to plan at all. But thanks to a lucky twist of fate, Fatima manages to step in and save Kenny from the Smiley. I have a strong feeling this isn't the end of it either. It's totally possible that Fatima will use her ability again at a crucial moment down the road. Ultimately, we find out that the totems don't work against the monsters. At the same time, Sophia's reaction to one of them really gives you pause. I couldn't shake the feeling that this totem looked super familiar, so I decided to dig a little deeper. Personally, I think it bears a striking resemblance to the Nkisin Kondi, sculptures from African culture. It's highly possible that the show's creators drew inspiration from them. And it's not just about how they look. In the traditional beliefs of the Congo people, Nkisin Kondi served as homes for spirits and acted as mediators when making deals. Driving nails into these figures symbolized sealing an agreement, confirming that the pact was officially in effect. But the Nkisin Kondi did even more than that. They were also believed to protect against evil forces and help keep dangerous spiritual entities at bay. If you remember the official version of how Fromville was founded, which mentions a pact between the first settlers and an unknown entity, this parallel becomes pretty fascinating. Earlier on, I guessed that the people of the first settlement didn't make a deal just to become immortal. Most likely, they were completely exhausted by whatever they ran into in these new lands. It's very possible that's why they reached out to something unknown and dangerous. To win their trust, this power might have given them the totems to protect them from the horrors happening around them. Over time, though, that protection probably wasn't enough anymore. That's likely why the residents finally agreed to the deal. But as it so often goes in stories like this, they were tricked. Instead of the peace and protection they were promised, they were turned into monsters. If this theory is right, it makes perfect sense why the totems can't hurt them. They're actually part of the exact same deal, representing the other side of it. In that case, the purpose of the totems is to protect those who originally made the pact. At the same time, I'm also considering the idea that these totems might be some kind of vessel or anchor for the Ankui children. If that's the case, Sophia's reaction makes a whole lot more sense. For those of you who saw my video trying to figure out why she reacted that way to the ballerina figurine, you might remember my theory. The man in yellow might have once been a regular human who served as the spiritual leader of the first settlement, but because of that deal, he gradually lost his identity and turned into what he is today. I also suggested that he could be the father of one of the Ankui kids. If so, seeing the totem might have triggered a memory of her past. If my theory holds up, just imagine how everything connects. While Boyd and Jade are searching for a way to get into the tunnels, the answer has been right there the whole time. Maybe to free the Ankui children, they need to bring the totems to that exact spot, essentially reversing the process to finally break the time loop. The only issue is that after the failed attempt to legacy lock or neutralize the monster, the totem didn't work, so it's very likely Boyd left them behind on the surface. Just a reminder that this is only a theory. If you have any other cool ideas, I'd love to hear them in the comments. I always enjoy reading your thoughts. In the meantime, let's keep going. I also want to talk about Henry for a minute. It looks like Sophia has finally started getting into his head, slowly feeding him the idea that everything around them is just a dream. We even got a glimpse of what Victor might have looked like if it weren't for Fromville. And honestly, that's so heartbreaking to realize, because this place literally stole his chance at a happy life. Everything looked so incredibly real that Henry seems to be genuinely doubting what's actually reality. It's sad to watch his emotions and his deep desire to get back what he lost start taking over his common sense. It's like he's refusing to see what's right in front of him because he wants so badly to believe what he's seeing. That's exactly why it worries me how much this situation mirrors Abby's story. She also believed that everything around her was just an illusion, and we all know how tragically that turned out for her. I really hope Henry doesn't suffer a similar fate, though recent events are definitely pointing in that direction. While Henry takes another emotional hit from Fromville, Victor, Tabitha, and Ethan head out to look for answers by the man in yellow's abandoned car. While Tabitha gets overwhelmed by memories of her past life when she was Miranda, Victor finally finds that little bag of ancient personal artifacts. This is a massive detail because it could be the proof we need regarding the true nature of the man in yellow. The thing is, this ties directly into old folk magic traditions. In many cultures, it's believed that if a dark force possesses a deeply personal item belonging to someone, they gain absolute power over their will. They can control their actions, cast heavy misfortunes, or even keep their essence trapped in a spiritual loop, not letting them move on to the next world. We'll actually come back to this point in just a bit. Ultimately, Victor faces the thing he feared most. The man in yellow is back. Victor remembers that the last time this happened, only one little boy survived and he had to grow up completely alone. Obviously, he's talking about himself, and now his biggest fear is that Ethan is going to repeat his history. You and I have already noticed that things are definitely heading that way, especially since Ethan started drawing. So now Victor is determined to prepare the boy for what's coming so he won't be afraid. You can totally understand where he's coming from, since he seems to be the only one who truly gets what the man in yellow really is, while everyone else just sees him as another tunnel monster. The next issue is that Henry isn't the only one who seems to be wavering. After Boyd told everyone the truth about Tabitha and Jade, that they're reincarnations of the couple who tried to save the Ankui kids, people are still having a really hard time accepting it, especially the part about them being accidental captives of this environment. Right at this moment, Sophia decides to make things even more complicated by using Roger. I mean, I did say it was a terrible idea to leave him all by himself in the barn. The townspeople are definitely not going to let this slide, which throws yet another wrench into Boyd's plan. Along with that, I don't know if you caught it, but it really felt like Roger wasn't actually planning to act aggressively toward anyone. He was clearly trying to say something, but he never got the chance. Most likely, Roger found out something incredibly important about the nature of this place, but he just wasn't able to pass that knowledge on to the others. It's also really interesting that Boyd gets another sign from Abby. When he looks through the kaleidoscope, he sees his own wedding photo, something that absolutely should not be there. We remember that Abby has tried to warn Boyd multiple times against digging too deep for answers, insisting that nothing good will come of it. That's why I think the appearance of the wedding photo, just like the wedding ring showing up out of nowhere, could be her way of hinting to Boyd that he's stuck in a time loop. At the same time, I wouldn't rule out another possibility. This could totally be another mind game by the man in yellow, who knows exactly how to weaponize people's memories and emotions against them. Plus, it's been quite a while since we've seen the real Abby. And that's exactly why I absolutely love what Elgin said about Fromville. He mentioned that this place throws so many lies at you that when the truth finally stares you right in the face, you can't even recognize it and just automatically push it away. Honestly, I don't think anyone could have described what happens in this town any better. Every new clue could be the key to everything, or it could just be another trap. The line between truth and deception here became practically invisible a long time ago. Getting back to Sophia, it's hard not to notice how her behavior is getting creepier by the minute. This duality is super interesting. It's like she's blending religious symbols with something much older and darker. Like I mentioned earlier, it's entirely possible that Sophia really was the spiritual leader of the first settlement at one point. Maybe she tried to find answers within her traditional beliefs, but ended up completely disillusioned. That could have pushed her to look for a different kind of knowledge, the kind that crosses lines or goes beyond what's allowed. It literally shows something that looks just like a dark, magical figure. I'm not saying that this entity has been the main power this whole time. As I've pointed out before, it's highly unlikely that the man in yellow is the big boss. He seems more like an enforcer or a middleman rather than the actual source of power. There's someone or something much higher up who actually gave the man in yellow his powers and runs this entire system. A lot of fans had super high hopes for this episode, mostly because it's literally Season 4, Episode 7, which ties right into the theory about how the number 47 impacts Fromville. Personally, I think this episode more than delivered on our expectations because we got some massive clues. They finally confirmed the theory we've been talking about for ages, that Ethan is meant to take Victor's place. We also seem to be getting incredibly close to uncovering the true nature of the man in yellow. And importantly, we got some great hints about what the totems actually do. If I missed anything, definitely let me know in the comments. Also, don't forget to drop a like and subscribe so you don't miss the next breakdowns. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.